Hello everyone and welcome to yet another video on our channel Cricket Blitz. Well, we all know, and in fact, if you ask most of the cricket fans out there what's their favorite format, uh, no prizes for guessing. Most of us know the answer, right? It's Test cricket, the heritage form, the orthodox format that has ruled this game for so many years. And with the introduction of the WTC, it has been even more prominent especially in the last few years. Well, while that's a positive sign, we all know that there's a disproportionate share of crowd that we see often. So, for instance, if you see a match that's happening in England or let's say Australia, you see crowds turning up in huge numbers. On the other hand, let's say a match is being hosted in West Indies or New Zealand, the crowds don't turn up in such numbers, right? Well, I think in a quest to tackle such challenges or maybe bring something better or bring something out of the box, a new rule, or rather, I should say, a new reform has been proposed, wherein the ICC wants to bring in a two-tier system for the WTC that you all know, the World Test Championship, wherein the 12 teams have been divided into two tiers, namely Tier 1 and Tier 2. Just to give you some idea, the tier one consists of the big three: India, England, Australia, and then New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. So these seven teams they consist the tier one. Coming to the tier two, that consists of five teams: West Indies, Bangladesh, Ireland, Afghanistan, and Zimbabwe. Okay, so that's about the new reform. Now, of course, when a new rule comes, there are pros and cons associated with it, isn't it? So, on that note, I would like to go to Shubhradeep to discuss. And before we start, it's just based on our analysis and understanding of the game. So, please take our statements with a pinch of salt. So, yes, Shubhradeep, what is, according to you, the cons of this new reform that is proposed, the two-tier system, please?
My first question is whether it's a tire group, tire division, or it's a divisional sports. My first question is that because when Melbourne Edge broke the news, they called it a tire group or tire division, but is it a divisional sports? If it's a divisional sports, then I can have a debate. If it's a tired sports, no thanks, I don't want to debate it because Test cricket is standing at a pinpoint where you can actually push it and it can fall on the other side of the mountain at such a organized unorganized position. It's as a fan, we are always want to see India, Australia, England playing each other. There's always a fight. You don't want to see India competing with West Indies or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka because it's easy. But we have to think the financial status of how the teams are going forward to it. My first question is who just structures this tired or division sports? How can we decide that England is at the number one or division one or group one? Only okay for the video I will say the group one because there is so much confusion. So how can you decide that England is in a group one and a Bangladesh or West Indies are in a group two? Even though if you see that England in Bangladesh is a vulnerable side, and the same way England have been owned in West Indies for a long time in a Test series. So this is a very issue for my eyes. And then if it's a tire group, then how can you decide who is going to go up or who is going to go down in a divisional sport? Just like they played a county championship in England, there's always a divisional sport, so there's no meaningless test matches. You can have that meaningless test matches at the end of the summer, but even if the last time Hampshire wins one of those games, they can go up, they can enjoy the win, or they can enjoy the victory because they know they are getting points, and then they can get promoted in the next division or division one for the next
Yeah.
season. That's a very good point, I can see, which is not going to happen for tier one. Then I know India, Australia, England, everyone wants to see that playing themselves. There's no issue with it. But who said you that something happening on a every basics is good for the game? It's not good for the game. All the India Australia series have been built up because there is a reality, because it's been so much into excitement. India is playing Australia for a long time, 2 years gap. So there's always a bit of a into, I would say, bit of excitement. When it starts to happen on every single year, there is a kind of a boredom will come to you and it will attract you all the time. There's another point is that if you put these seven teams, as you mentioned, you have to kind of scale it between each other. Then how can you put India and Pakistan in the same group? where you can't do it in ICC events. So you are ready to do it. They can't play each other at any point of time. So how can you schedule it? You cannot do it. So there's another point: is West Indies at the bottom. And when Melbourne Age reported the video or reported news, they actually went to Clive Lloyd, and Clive Lloyd, with all the meanings, is actually criticized the whole model, and he said, "There is no way." Can you believe West Indies 1970s? They actually, enjoy the great time of Test cricket for 3 decades,
Yeah.
and they're now standing at a point where they can't actually survive in the Test cricket. So there is an issue. West Indies only make money when they play or host India and England, not even Australia. And you can believe that that the Caribbean side is not actually hosting any test match for England in the next cycle. That is a huge, huge one. Even not India, huge drop for them, huge drop from the financial structure. So how can they survive? And for Bangladesh side, even how can they survive? Mamunul Haq, the former Bangladesh captain, he has also questioned that how can you develop as a player if you don't play these top teams, which is a question for me. And what is the financial structure? Because the only point I can think of is a good thing is that Division 1 or Group 1, whatever they are actually earning the money, they can actually distribute to 50% to the Division 2. But then what is the point of staying at the number 1 if you have to distribute 50% of the money to Division 2? For Sri Lanka and South Africa, they want a 100% share of the money because of the development of the game, of the development of the structure. You remember, South Africa is WC finalists, no issues with it. I know they have played well. But this is the same South Africa side who decided not to send their A team to New Zealand because of the T20 league that is in the second season.
Yeah,
Decided
exactly.
to send the
Yeah,
absolute team where a captain who has made his debut lead the side against New
Neil
Zealand,
Brand.
Neil Brand. So that is the point that if they are not actually, everything has happened for South Africa in a very smooth way. I have no issues with it, but they have actually standing at the point also like the West Indies. So they want their money hold the whole 100% share. And if they have to distribute it to the Division 2, then why are you standing at the Division 1? There's what's the meaning of staying there? So, there's so many issues. Even if Australia plays there, first the England is playing a lot of divisional games, and if the promotion and demotion comes, England loses a couple of series and they get devoted in the Division 2. Are you gonna tell me that Australia and England is not playing Ashes for 4 years? Is it gonna happen? The broadcasters won't be happy with it. The fans of both these countries won't be happy with it. And what's the length of the cycle? For my question is when the model will be go to Jayasha, which is going to happen, I think the next cycle or next chairman meeting. I mean, what is the length of the whole cycle for me? Is it 2 years? Is it 4 years? And how will they decide who goes to Division 1? Who goes Division 2? So many questions for me at the moment. I will be really fascinated to see, because if it's a tier 1, I have really sympathy for whoever plays Test cricket, because you know I know players always say I love Test cricket, I want to enjoy Test cricket, but there is no test specialist at the moment. England, Jimmy Anderson played a lot of test cricket for a long, long time, but the only reason he was able to play that because England actually gave him a lot of money. He actually earned a lot of money of it, which is not going to happen for someone like Craig Bathwaite. Craig Bathwaite is also someone who plays a test specialist game, but that's because he doesn't have the T20 skill.
Yeah,
Whether you admit it or not, he doesn't have the T20 skills, and that's why he always plays
Yeah.
Test cricket. So yeah, I know people will not enjoy some of the words that I also speak, but this is a bit of a fact, whether you love it or not. So yeah, so many cons, so many disadvantages in my understanding from this new model of Test cricket.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shubhadeep, for that. And while we have been discussing with Shubhadeep the cons of this system, there might be some bright sunlight beneath that. So I would like to go to Saptarshi to discuss that. What is, in his opinion, what can be the possible pros of this system? What are some of the advantages? How can this system, if it will, I mean, if it eventually comes into force, how can it enrich the game further? Yes, Saptarshi.
yeah. So definitely, I mean, maybe there won't be enough proof to balance out Shubhradeep's cons, but definitely I would like to find someone in the video on a lighter note, on a happy note. Yeah, I mean, definitely everyone will surely realize the main thing, which if this is implemented, the main reason will be broadcasters' revenue, and that's where everyone will for the first few years, everyone will enjoy. You are not getting an India Bangladesh, you are getting an extra India Australia, or getting an extra Australia England Ashes, and you will enjoy
Yeah,
it. People will say, oh, we will watch it now, we don't have to watch an India West Indies. People don't love to watch India West Indies, people watch India Australia, people watch India England, or even if it's India New Zealand, people will watch it more than if they would have watched, then they would have watched an Australia West Indies or an Australia Bangladesh, because I mean, absolutely no disrespect to these teams, but mostly it's a no contest. You know that what was the result going to be. Yeah, there are rare cases like that Gaba match where Shamar Joseph made that
yeah,
wicket
that
taking haul,
iconic match.
and yeah, there was that match. Or maybe there will be some matches here and there. Bangladesh defeated Pakistan 2-0. That was a historic series. But
The
yeah,
Sri Lanka New
mostly you
Zealand
know,
game, that was such a
yeah,
contest.
yeah, even Bangladesh defeated New Zealand in a match a couple of years back where
American.
Ibadat Hussain took those wickets. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there are a rare scenarios here and there, but mostly you know when a Bangladesh is playing New Zealand or Bangladesh is playing Australia. Even Bangladesh don't tour Australia that often or tour England that often. So instead of that, if you get an extra India Australia, India New Zealand, Australia New Zealand, England New Zealand, you would like it. The broadcasters would get more money because people will watch more, the viewerships will hike, and people will definitely raise that viewership. So that's the only pros which I can get. Yeah, definitely, as I said again, there will be more cons to this format, this model, than the pros, but that's the only pros
Yeah,
that I can highlight as of now.
and also to add to your point, I mean, and I would like to ask you that if there is some sort of this promotion demotion scenario, do you think that it will help to, I mean, encourage more teams to, like, they want to, let's say, go from some somewhat like tier 2 to tier 1, anything of that sort happening according to
Yeah,
you?
definitely. I mean, in the if it's again, as Shubhadeep said, whether it's a tiered structure or a division structure, if it is like the
Yeah,
promotion relegation thing happens as it happens in the county structure, so then there will be definitely a sense of competition in that second division group, because there will be always a sense of competition and a sense of purpose to each and every match, that
yeah,
whoever finishes top, or the couple of teams that finish on the top, will get promoted. But then again, if those couple of teams in the division 1 who are finishing and are India and Australia or India and England, are you ready to do that sacrifice? Because then it cancels out that revenue purpose. Then you
Yeah,
are
and
not
the
getting
whole
an
yeah,
game is
they're not getting a BGT for the next 4 years, or not getting an Ashes for the next 4 years.
and the whole game
man.
is standing on revenues. It's all the
Yeah,
financial structure that keep pushing you to say Test cricket. Otherwise, there's no point of. I mean, you love Test cricket, but as Ritik started the whole video, you love Test cricket. If you ask anyone who's standing here in the bus depot and saying, "What is your favorite format?" and there's a Test cricket. Then how many times you did Test cricket in the ground? Oh no, no, only TV, only TV. Then why not doing turn
Absolutely.
out? Because the tickets price and all the things are there. Pakistan played a test match against England in Multan. There's no one in the stands. No one. Not even
Yeah,
the birds. Not even the birds are seeing the test matches. So yeah, so many issues I think with the format.
yeah. So I mean, as soon as you try to do the promotion relegation thing, it just cancels out the purpose of the revenue and broadcasters' advantage. So how do you balance it out? That's the thing that they need to watch. Also, another thing I'm interested to see is whether they put some sort of a restriction on the number of matches, or do something to balance
yeah,
that out.
Yeah,
Because in a WTC format, South Africa playing just around 10 matches. I'm not saying they qualified because they played 10 matches, or I'm not saying that England didn't qualify because they played 22 matches. But the thing is, you need to have judgment on a level basis.
yeah,
yeah. Actually, I think that if this system, if it comes into force, if this, I mean, comes with a purpose of, let's say, teams like New Zealand, so they generally play very few matches. So if it makes some sort of even arrangement that each team plays,
Mhm.
I mean, if not equal, similar number of matches, I think then the purpose would be to enrich the game, and that will do
Yeah,
these teams and Test cricket a lot of good. So, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, surely. So let's see how. I mean, the ICC balances out all these pros and cons and what they finally come up with. Till then, I think we have to wait
yeah.
and
It's up
watch.
to the
yeah,
it's up to the ICC boss.
yeah. Okay, then, guys. So we will meet you in yet another video. Until then, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, do let us know in the comments what are your thoughts on this new system and what are the pros and cons according to you. Thank you.
Cheers.